This week, we're focusing on two special animal groups, birds and fish. First, I'll tell you how I made birds a priority in my life. And then I'll introduce you to an expert in fish, and he will share his expertise with you. So let's get started. Our first segment for today is about birds. I absolutely love birds. There's such a wide variety, and I just enjoy going through neighborhoods and parks, out to the mountains, along the beach, anywhere I possibly can watch and look at birds and observe them. That makes a great day for me. Let me take you out on location, and I think you'll see how much birds mean to me. Because I love birds so much, I wanted to create an environment where they would come to me so that I could observe them. And so I worked with my husband and we created an ecosystem in our front yard. We put in this river so that the birds, when they're either in the neighborhood or migrating either north or south, it would be a resting spot for them. So come and look at the ecosystem that we created. It's a river system, and we have all the different waterfalls and areas where the birds like to come and take baths. Come on with me. And we put in a variety of flowers and plants that we hoped would attract birds and butterflies, because you know I love to observe nature. So if you come on up this way, on this side we have more of the refined environment, and the hummingbirds especially love this fountain, and they are there frequently, and in fact they have wars over the territory of the fountain. And then for some of the birds that prefer a still environment, we have a small bird bath, and that will sometimes become just like a jacuzzi. There's so many birds in there splashing around and having a good time. And up closer to our house, we have the bigger pool area. And one of the most fun experiences that I had was when I came out, and sitting right here on this rock was a duck. And the duck, at that time there were a few more water plants inside. The duck was eating the water plants and getting into the root system of the water plants. So this is kind of where I come out and relax, and I clean it up. It is maintenance to take care of it, but I wanted a taste of the mountains in my own front yard. So it's a great thing for all of these aerial creatures, but we have something that's even cooler. There's aquatic animals. And I have an expert that's going to come and visit you and tell you all about fish, because they are the coolest aquatic animals that I know. Once again, let's go on location, and I'd like to introduce you to a fish expert. Hi, Michael. Welcome to our topic of the week. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, for Miss Bree, for having me for a guest speaker today. I'm so excited to talk about fish today.
Well, I'm glad too, because I know you're an expert in fish, and I always try to find people that know a lot about different subjects. So can you tell us about fish and the kind of fish that live on this beautiful planet that we inhabit?
Yes, there are 28 million species of fish. Some are not discovered, and 27,000 are bony fish, and 970 are sharks.
Oh, that's amazing to me. Which are your favorite?
My favorite is the ghost knife because it's cool how it's nocturnal and its fin on the bottom that propels it through the water, and it doesn't have like a dorsal fin on top, so that's pretty cool.
That's unusual, isn't it? Because we mostly think of sharks with the fin on top and coming out of the water and towards people.
Well, it's not actually a shark, it's just a tropical fish, and it uses the electric to find where its surrounding is because it has very poor eyesight, so it's nocturnal because
Wow,
it's very tiny.
very tiny. And is that
Yep.
is that something that you have, or it's just something that you've studied? And is that something that people would own someday, or is that a fish that's out in the wild?
It's a fish that you could own someday because we got this one from a pet store. So he doesn't even know he's in a glass tube right now because of his poor eyesight.
Oh
But
my,
he's in it.
that's incredible. So can you tell us more about your fish tank? Because that is beautiful.
Well, for the fish tank needs, you just need a big glass fish tank, and whatever size fish you have, it depends on how big you need the fish tank. Like if you had like a fish 1 foot long, you'd need like a 120-gallon fish tank because that'd be a perfect size for it to swim around and turn.
Excellent. Well, can you tell us more about the kinds of fish you have in your tank?
Well, I have a rainbow shark, 2 angelfish, and silver dollars with the little nocturnal badger. That's his name, so it's a ghost.
Wow.
He was the badger.
And do they all get along well?
Well, the shark doesn't, and that's the only fish that doesn't get along well.
I see. But are the other ones big enough that they aren't bothered by the sharkfish?
Yeah, the shark only would pick on smaller fish than itself because we had 2 smaller brownies in this tank, and he like ate off the scales.
Oh no, that doesn't sound very friendly at all.
Yep.
So, are you going to be able to feed these fish for us? Are you going to be able to show them to us and how they eat and tell us about what you have to do to take care of them?
Okay. So we have these algae eater fish flakes, but they're not flakes, they're sinking pellets, but they won't really feed for these fish, they feed for bottom feeders.
Mm-hmm.
So we have these tropical flakes right here for like the more fish that are trained to come up to the top and eat. And then we've got these bottom feeders again, but they're mostly for like clown loaches and cories, but I use them for my silver dollars because they go nuts with them.
And so you've actually trained these fish to come up when it's their meal time?
I've trained the shark and the angelfish.
That's incredible. And how did you train them?
Yeah.
Because I
Then
never
you can
really...
also train the.
How do you train a fish?
You just sit there, and then they'll sit there for like a while, and then they'll follow around you, and then once they get to know you, they just come up to the top every time when you're there with this can of flakes. So the silver dollars are too big now to like. Some of the fish, when you know your fish aren't hungry, they'll stop eating apparently. So.
Oh, well, that's nice. That's a good habit to have.
Yeah.
So, do you think that each of your fish has a different personality?
Yeah, the shark is like the bully of the tank, and he just vacuums the one that fall. And the silver dollars go to the bottom and like pick up the ones that are at the bottom. And then the angelfish just go to the top. And then when they're done, apparently I didn't train them this, but they go at the bottom and pick at the flakes that are actually stuck in the gravel.
Well, that's very cool. So they're kind of a little cleanup crew or something like that as well.
Yeah, so that's why I don't really need a pleco to eat those leftover flakes in here.
Wow, that is amazing and so interesting to somebody that doesn't know that much about fish. Probably interesting to people that do know about fish too. So, Michael, is there anything else that you would like to share with us about fish? Any fun facts or interesting information that you think people should know about fish?
A fun fact is that fish can't choke unless you're a shark. Not like this shark though, because he's actually a fish that actually is a freshwater shark. so he's not really.
And that name kind of confused me when you said it was a shark, but then it's not really a shark. But I think there's a lot of animals that have names that are kind of incorrect compared to what they actually are as a species.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not know that fish cannot choke. And is there any other thing that you think that the audience would like to know about fish?
I don't think so.
Okay, one last question, because I can tell how much you love your fish.
Yeah.
But I've also heard you're a fisherman.
Yep.
And so how do you balance that? You love fish, but you're a fisherman, and I'm assuming that you enjoy eating fish. I know I do.
No, I don't really enjoy it as much as I used to now because I don't know why, but I just don't really enjoy the taste now.
No, but you enjoy the sport of fishing.
Yeah, I like fishing. I went fishing in the middle of the ocean at a 200 feet down deep ocean, and I caught some rock cod. And if you were to be down there with them, you'd actually get crushed.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that fish can withstand that pressure.
Yeah, and they can swim faster than humans than they can when one of those fish at the bottom swim, they go faster than the fastest fish. I mean, the fastest human swimming in the water on top because there's less pressure on you.
I see. Well, that's a fascinating fact as well. Can you tell me, as we're just finishing up, about your fishing, which being out in the middle of the ocean on a fishing boat, that would make me a little bit nervous. What's the biggest fish that you've ever caught? Do you know?
I think it's a peacock bass.
And how big is a peacock bass?
It's about the size of your computer.
Really?
Yeah, it's how big they can grow.
And so, do they put up a fight as you're pulling them in?
Yeah, because they're more related to bass, and bass have a really big fighting fatality.
We actually obtained footage of you reeling in your peacock bass. It looks like a lot of effort is required to pull in a fish of that size and character. But it's absolutely beautiful, and as I understand, you were in the beautiful islands of Hawaii. But it's time to head back to your aquarium because it's feeding time for the ghost knife fish. And we would all like to hear about what it eats and its behavior during its feeding time.
These are bloodworms. Fish eat bloodworms because if you know, fishing bait would be the best for worms, and these are just frozen worms. And it'll also eat frozen brine shrimp in a cube, or they'll just eat plain frozen brine shrimp. But they also would eat live brine shrimp. Oh, Badger has the cube.
Okay.
And he just gobbled it up. Because ghost knives, for a fun fact, you'd think they have a tiny mouth. They have a really big mouth. And whenever there's light, he's full now. He's in the plant.
Oh, I can see him. I can see him. So is that his habit? He'll eat a lot and then he goes down there and rests, or?
Yeah, he eats a lot, and then when he's full, he goes into plants.
Well, that's interesting. So every fish in your tank has its own personality.
Yep, the silver doll is just scared of everything.
Well, with a fish that has the name of shark in there, I'm not surprised. I think I would be too. Well, excellent. You know, you've given so much information. I've just enjoyed talking to you so much. I want to thank you for being part of our topic of the week. And again, much appreciation for bringing your expertise to my classroom.
Okay, thank you.
That concludes our show today. A special thank you to Michael for sharing his expertise with us. And I think we would all have to agree that birds and fish are extremely amazing animals.